educating, the youth, and also holding space for like how families can communicate through it, because often it's an awkward, like everybody wants to help but doesn't know what to do, and there's like all these different feelings and emotions that are like tied to it. And so, with Keep Abreast over the years, I've done so many different things, really kind of supported them when it comes to how they raise money. They do a lot of breast molds of different athletes and get artists to paint them. They have merch in different ways. And, they've just came out with an app this last year. So kind of like getting the app, working with it and promoting it. This time it was in and around working with Rain and raising money and awareness in a different platform. So everything, it's like my involvement, like Shani Joe is fantastic. Their organization is wonderful. There's a lot of different breast cancer organizations in the world. And the thing I love about Keep Abreast is they really, speak about how, speak and help support families and how to work with it. She's getting caught. My little doggy's getting caught now over here. And my little, it's a thing now. She's inside the cord for this. I was like getting pulled down. Yeah. So, really it's like talking to the youth, super important. Educating them on how to hold space and kind of dealing with their some of their emotions. She's actually right now working on creating like a center that will be a place where families can go and be together. So that's going to be fantastic. And my involvement with them has ranged over, obviously the last 20 years, we've done a lot of different work together over the years. And it's mostly about kind of like getting the word out there and helping to spread the message. And then also organizing and coming together with different, doing the breast molds and auctioning them off and raising money and support to kind of further their work and get it out into the world. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And yeah, talking about it and being vulnerable, because it's a vulnerable place. And like, as people kind of share their, stories, it's like, gosh, yeah, it's like so many people feel helpless. And like, I know I wanted to help my mom and I felt like I couldn't, but then like getting involved with Keep Abreast was something that I could do that felt like it was helping her in this way, and like learning about it and educating myself about it too. And then kind of getting it out into the world. So I think, and then I think too, it's like, now really Keep Abreast is focused on like how to bring families together and create a space where everybody can be supported and nourished to kind of communicate about it,
Sure.
So I think that's awesome. And they're kind of taking it into another level, and just Shani's amazing. And, it's just so sad that these things are things that like really kind of plague in some ways like humanity. It's like something for all of us to go through because we're all affected, like everybody. I feel like there's not one person on the planet that hasn't been affected by like breast cancer and or prostate cancer at some point in time.
And
so it's heavy.
Very prevalent. And it's awesome the work that you're doing with them. And like, Shani Joe, and then like Laura Rubin, when my mother was diagnosed, I had Laura talk to my mom actually, and really helped her so much, like so incable. So like, yeah, we're all impacted.
How did Rain contribute? How did they help out?
They helped out. Yeah. So like basically like all the sales of October, there was like a percentage of all the sales of the whole month of October. That's awesome. And so, yeah, it was really great. And like, I think too, it's like, yeah, there's some crossover with the audience. And in some ways, sorry, my dog fell into some stuff.
What's going on over
I heard that. I heard some stacks fall over.
Yeah, she's all good. But yeah, they Rain really kind of like, was like, hey, we want to donate a percentage of our sales this month, and then also help spread the message to like an audience that Keep Abreast might not totally have. It's like maybe my audience, there's more of a crossover, and with Rain's audience, not as much. So just bringing people together to kind of share stories.
Like for those people, it's great. So
it's awesome. It's super awesome. Just all coming together.
Well, Mr. Coffin, you know what time it is?
It's time for On the Clock. All right. So On the Clock.
What's on the clock? What's on the clock here?
kind of how we finish up.
There we go.
We do this thing called On the Clock, and it's a quick Q&A where we try to ask you a question rapid fire, and you've got to like not think, as little words as possible. Give us your best answer.
Okay, that little words is hard for me. I'm okay, but let's go.
It's okay. We can stray a bit. All right. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. What are you currently riding?
Oh gosh, a 7-1 twin pin.
Nice.
Shaped by who?
By
Who's
who?
shaped by who?
My friend Spencer. He's just my friend Spencer. He just made it for me. He's rad and he's a glasser. Not much, he doesn't shape as often, but he's a great shaper. I'm like, dude, you don't even have a logo, man. This is the best. I love this thing.
What are you currently listening to?
Oh my gosh. I'm actually listening to a lot of solfeggio frequencies right now. Just basically ambient frequencies that all have different specific things that they kind of like are functioning towards.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
All right. What are you currently reading?
Oh man, I just read like Dr. Upledger's Your Inner Practitioner. So yeah, he's like a craniosacral. He's who brought craniosacral therapy here, and he's fantastic. Your inner physician.
Awesome. So we're gonna get a little personal here. What is your favorite analog photo alternative process?
Oh, I just love actually like transfers. Like when I would do Polaroid transfers, that was actually my favorite alternative analog process.
Yeah, I've done my research on you, so here we go. Now this is not going to be a simple answer, because I'm going to have to add to this. What would you rather hold in your hand, a spider or a snake?
Oh, I love snakes. Way rather hold a snake than a spider.
Oh my God. I saw this video where you talked at length about how like you're totally terrified of spiders.
I'm so scared of spiders. Like I love snakes. So I spiders freak me out, and snakes I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm chill with you. I used to have a couple pet snakes.
Wow.
I can't do spiders either. Like I cannot do spiders. Like it's like great white sharks or spiders. I'll take the sharks. It's like no way.
Spiders are so intense. I mean, I would rather take a spider than a great white, but spiders are just so creepy. My dad took me to see Arachnophobia when I was a kid, and I was like, forget it. Like it just scarred me to life. I was like, thank you for
Jeff Bridges at his best.
Oh my God. That was terrifying. What?
That was like a comedy, right? That was hysterical.
Kind of.
Oh my God.
Horror comedy.
I was like 10 or 11, and I was like,
at 10, it's terrifying though.
Yeah.
Like that's not funny. That's scary.
Yeah. Before I pull like a lampshade, I still look under it to make sure the spider's not coming down. Scarred me.
I could tell you tons of spider stories. We're not doing it. All right. When was the last time you dropped in on someone, and was it on purpose or by accident?
Well, the last time I dropped in on somebody was it was the other day at Topanga, but he told me to go. He was like, just go. And like, he was kind of in that spot where I didn't think he was going to make it. And so he didn't. And then I got the wave like all the way through. And so it was cool. So it was an invitation.
There you go.
I still felt bad.
That's the
next question, actually. The next question is, did you feel bad about it?
I still felt bad, but the whole section just erupted on top of him. So I didn't feel so bad, but I was like, man, like, could he have made it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right. So last question. What was your most recent memorable wave?
Ooh, most recent memorable wave. Probably that wave that was super fun, because I got it all the way past the second staircase to the third staircase at Topanga. And it was just one of those ones where like a couple of my friends were out there, and then some people I knew were on the beach, and everybody was like, yeah. And it was just like, I went in. I was like, I'm out of here.
Gotta leave on a high note.
You're like, I'm out.
Yeah,
George Costanza, leave on a high note,
It's the real deal. I was like, okay. And nobody's going to give me one of those again. So I'm out of here.
I'm going home. It's like one of those, like, and you've had those those days too where you're like sitting out there for like freaking like 20 minutes waiting for that last wave and you catch the chunkiest one in. And you're like,
well, if I went back out, forget it. I mean, I even got a text message later that night from a friend who's like, we heard that, that Amato and Kristen were on the beach and they saw your wave and they said how rad it was. Like other people were texting me like secondhand. And it's not to say that I rode the wave exceptionally great or anything. It was just definitely like, get out on that one. Like if I paddled back out, it would have been dark. Yeah, it would have been dark. I would have like probably stubbed my toe or like done something like that.
That's funny.
The worst are when you paddle back out after one of those, and then you're like, all right, one more, or you said that was going to be your last one, and you're like,
oh yeah,
so good.
And then it's dark, and you haven't caught another wave.
And then you get last wave syndrome where you just skunk the rest of the session.
Oh yeah, that's why you just go in. You're just like, all right, I'm done.
Oh,
it's like the paddle of shame. You're like, oh shit, I'm really gonna paddle in. I'm really gonna do this.
Oh, it's the worst. That's why like I used to always go out for one more and like actually like it's something that actually the late great Sonny Miller would always tell me. He'd be like, don't be greedy. That was like one of his quotes.
I like that.
And it's like, that's something that I always really held. Because anytime I try to be greedy, like I would hurt myself, or then I would stay out for too long, and then it would be dark, and I'd have the club hand. Even I get it here, even though it's not as cold as where y'all are. But, and then I can't get into my car. Like something happens, you think you're bored, you lose it into the rocks. So whenever I kind of like think about him and in those places, I'm like, okay, don't be greedy. I'm just going to go home and wish I stayed back out and be like, I should have stayed, but no, this is good.
I love that.
That's
That's a great way to end it.
You should be greedy with your time any longer. I think we should end it on a good note.
Well,
thank you guys so much for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be on it.
So much fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Good
really
hang. It was a
Awesome.
lovely Saturday evening with you guys. Thank you for having me.
It was lovely.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
And that was Kassia Meador. What a great conversation. So much fun talking to her. Like, I've been such a huge fan since a seedling, so just to get the opportunity to talk to her has been amazing. So thank you again, Kassia, for joining us. She's been so gracious, actually, that she's offering all Swell Season listeners 11% off Wax Bar singlets, and use the promo code WAXUP11, all capital letters, and go to KassiaSurf.com. Check it out. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. You.